We owe the American people to be there for them, for their financial security, respecting the dignity and worth of every person in our country. And if there's some collateral damage for some others who do not share our view, well, so be it.
What the hell did you just say?
It's close to midnight. Something evil's lurking in the dark. Yeah.
Leaves are falling and the wind's getting a little brisker and got the ocean. There are a lot of good reasons to come to Miami. You know, come on. We're okay. Hold on a second.
Under the moonlight, you see a sight that almost stops your heart. Yeah.
Hold on a second. Where was I? Hold on a second. Sir.
You try to scream, but terror takes the sound before you make it. Huh.
Here's the deal. So, hold on.
You start to freeze as horror looks you right between the eyes. You paralyzed.
Hold on a second. And, okay. Don't fall for the okie doke.
'Cause this is thriller night, and no one's gonna save you from the beast about to strike. You know it's thriller.
Charlie Brown say okay, and then be like, look over there. Look over there.
Thriller night, you fighting for your life inside that killer thriller tonight.
With election time fast approaching and the masses gearing up to gather under the big top to pull the lever for their favorite psychopathic sock puppet, and as the lights go down and the spotlight shines on the center of the three-ring political circus, I thought it'd be appropriate to lighten the tone for this video. The political game is all about violence, coercion, theft, and about name recognition. And for the politicians you're about to meet, that's unfortunate. When people automatically assume you're a slimy, crooked liar, the last thing you want is to have a name like Dick or Harry. Sure, it's funny for the rest of us, but it's no laughing matter for any aspiring political parasite. While most politicians are typically remembered for their epic fails, these poor people will be remembered for their unique names. And this is precisely why you should probably name your next child Fart Johnson or Tits McGee. But be warned, I bet the only positive thing that'll come from having names like that is exclusion from holding public office. Unless you're one of these people. At the end of the video, let everybody know which one was your favorite, and if you heard other fitting political names, drop them in the comments section below. Remember, none of the names you're about to see are made up, and none of them are changed to protect the innocent. Or should I say guilty. First, let's take a quick look into the future of politics with Crystal Ball. Miss Ball was running for Congress, but she already knew that. Wait, what? Next, life is hard enough without having to go through it with a name like Bill Boner. As a side note, Bill was the mayor when I was growing up right outside of Nashville, Tennessee in the 80s. One thing I'll say is you could always count on Boner. Every time he made a public appearance, he could really get a rise out of people. Thankfully, he was out of touch with his generation because he couldn't get a grasp on the simplest concepts and always seemed to come up short. The good thing about Boner was that he was a constant reminder of the true nature of government. He reminded everybody that the government is a lot like a condom. It allows for inflation, halts production, destroys subsequent generations, protects a bunch of pricks, and provides its constituents with a sense of security while they're actually being screwed. As we move along in the circus past the cotton candy machine, you'll notice to your right that Precinct 1 needed a constable. Just so happens that Robin Rape thought he'd be the perfect fit. Robin and Rapin' is a pretty good summary of what governments constantly do to their people. Matter of fact, a lot of people have stopped having sex because government screws them every single day of the week. That brings us to former Texas State Representative Dick Armey. Need an army of one? Call Dick. In the 1800s, they needed a little excitement in the House of Representatives, so Richard P. Bland was their go-to guy from Missouri's 8th Congressional District. A big proponent of bimetallism and an advocate for the free silver movement, his pals nicknamed him Silver Dick. So that would make him Silver Dick P. Bland. Don't ask, let's just move on to the next one. There was a South Australian candidate named Carrie Faggoter. Of course, she was liberal. And there's Dave Obey. No question about it, one of Dave's favorite movies is They Live. But you probably already knew that. Or at least Crystal Ball did. We have Richard, who is called Dick Ryder. Of course, he was a lawyer and a politician, so he got a double dose of the corruption chromosome. Then we've got Ashland County Commissioner Barb Queer, who was obviously the queer-cut choice. I know, that was gay. If you want to get a good seat at a movie theater in Swain County, don't sit behind Democrat Ben Bushyhead. As far as politicians go, he's about as thick-headed as you can get. In an effort to keep some politicians honest, God gave this family the name Schmuck. During his political career, Frank literally couldn't go anywhere without people knowing who and what he actually was. Chris Christie's body double ran for state senate, and they could barely get his name on the sign. In the fall of 2000, Clark County wasn't looking for just any sheriff. They needed someone whose mere name would strike fear into any would-be criminal. So they sought to elect Timothy Shotwell. But it didn't end well for Shotwell because he was ousted by Gus Body Armor. Didn't see that coming, did you, Crystal? They once had to go below the belt to elect Diane Gooch for Congress, but it all worked out because the Senate picked up Dick Mountjoy. Some say it was a match made in heaven. A guy who people always knew was full of shit but could never quite figure out why was Michael Crapo from Idaho. Then there was Kinky Friedman for the Texas Agricultural Commission. If you ever needed your spirits lifted, there was young Boozer, who was pretty old at the time, but he was still a boozer, and actually died a boozer. Pickering Local Council for Ward 2 had some interesting signs in their town for a couple weeks. Ian Cumming obviously hired a bunch of horny marketers to put his campaign together, and even though I'm sure it was hard, in the end, it paid off. Anthony Weiner would have been proud. Somewhere in Germany, a guy named Tiny Cox ran for office. You gotta admit, that guy had to have balls to run with a name like that. And last, but certainly not least, Fort Wayne, Indiana had a mayor named Harry Balls. Well, that's it for the names, but remember, election time is right around the corner. So make sure you give it some time before you push that button for the next political psychopath you want ruling over you and people who don't want to be ruled. Also remember that no matter who you vote for, the Federal Reserve will still retain its power and control, the IRS won't be abolished, the income tax won't be eliminated, the wars will continue, the military-industrial complex will grow larger, more laws will be written, we'll lose more of our freedoms, the national debt will continue to skyrocket, and the cognitive dissonance of voters will continue to allow them to sleep soundly at night, even though all their vote did was send a signal to the puppet masters that their social engineering experiment in crowd control is still working like a charm. I'll see you guys in the next video.